good guy, good fighter, and he has all the qualities.
What does it take to be pound for pound king?
Duck.
He's at Inoue. He's
the one with the color hair?
No, he is good.
21-0, undefeated. He's a 3-division champion. He's a big puncher. He was champion 112.
Bam, a puncher. He is good.
Who's that?
Inoue. He's Japanese.
Good. His placements and everything.
Footwork.
Yeah.
Defense.
Who can take advantage of that attitude, of that style, and what it presents as far as opportunities when you're as technical as Inoue is in placing punches in the act and hard punches in such an act.
Sugar Ray Leonard considers Naoya Inoue the top pound-for-pound fighter in boxing right now. While he acknowledges the talent of several other elite champions, Leonard still ranks Inoue ahead of them because of his exceptional ability, commanding performances, and remarkable consistency.
It's a pound-for-pound king now, Crawford or Inoue, after the fights that we have seen recently. It's been some good ones.
How can you not say yes? But you know, they all are nice. They all are very, let's say, experienced. Put it this way, I like what I see.
Wade Playman describes Naoya Inoue as a relentless competitor who refuses to stay down, even when knocked to the canvas. He says Inoue responds by coming back stronger, continuing to attack, and producing the kind of exciting performances that boxing fans genuinely enjoy watching.
Look at him and you go, oh, well, if you got dropped in your career, you're not as good as Floyd ever was. Like, I hate that kind of stuff because Floyd also wasn't out here TKOing and KOing late into his career like I assume that Inoue is going to do, or that the more aggressive fighters will do, right? And again, nothing against Floyd. He's one of, if not the greatest boxer ever. All I'm saying is being dropped in this fight doesn't take away from the pound for pound talks for me. Like, people are going to say, oh, well, Bud never got dropped in his career. Like, okay, that doesn't really take anything away from what I think the special thing that Inoue is doing here and why I believe he deserves to be in that pound-for-pound conversation. He may not be number one. He may not be number two. Depending on where you place him, I still think the heavier weight classes do, no pun intended, weigh a little more just because the natural population of the world is that size, so you're going to get more people that are probably a little bit more skilled based on the numbers of people that walk around at that weight, that participate in the sport, that become high level at the sport, just numbers game. But it does not take away from what
Floyd Mayweather Jr. believes Naoya Inoue should make the trip to America and compete there, while praising him as an exceptionally talented fighter.
Or twice, Donaire. So Donaire was giving him fits in the first fight. And if I'm not mistaken, Donaire was somewhere close to 40 or 40 years old when he fought him the first time. Whereas he was in his...
That praise carries significant weight from one of boxing's most dominant, undefeated champions. Mayweather's remarks emphasize Inoue's exceptional ability, worldwide standing, and increasing status among the elite fighters of today, regardless of weight class.
Should have knocked him out in the first fight, fighting the guy, you know, like I said before, you know, at that age. What I need Inoue to do is, I need him to come fight in the U.S., random blood and urine testing. I think he's a hell of a fighter, I don't want to take nothing away from him. Hell of a fighter, and I like him because I see he take a lot of my stuff from my plate.
Teddy Atlas compares Naoya Inoue's career trajectory to Manny Pacquiao's, noting that stepping in the higher weight divisions could present serious challenges and potentially push Inoue beyond his limits, despite the tremendous ability he has shown.
Journey, going towards like a Pacquiao, I don't know if he can go that many weight classes. There is a limit to your body structure, to your skeleton, to your, you know, the size that you can properly handle that extra weight and still be efficient and effective in this game. There is a limit. Another great fight, he didn't do as many, but Lomachenko, and you saw, you know, he won at 3 different weight classes, and then you saw a limit to how far up he could go, I think. And then Crawford is a great...
Timothy Bradley says Naoya Inoue's victory over Marlon Tapales convinced him that Inoue is the finest fighter competing today. Bradley considers him the clear pound-for-pound leader, pointing to his dominance, accuracy, and remarkable ability to systematically dismantle top-level opponents across several weight classes with impressive consistency and control.
I think the speed, you know, just the athleticism of the explosiveness, the speed, the hand-eye coordination, everything that comes with Inoue, man. You know, it just was too much. Just too much. You know, I told you, you know, I was a great athlete. However, Manny Pacquiao was a better athlete. I told you, Crawford is a fantastic athlete. He's a better athlete than Canelo. I told you that was going to be the difference too. You know, same thing here. You know, as Inoue travels up divisions, right? He's going to meet that athlete that's going to be just as athletic as him. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't know who that guy is, right? But that's when the size is going to become a factor for him. You know, I remember saying this about Lomachenko years ago. You know, and everybody was just like, man, you hating.
Makila Mayer and Sean Porter have both praised Naoya Inoue as the world's leading pound-for-pound fighter, highlighting his ability, dominance, and steady success against elite opponents in different divisions. Still, they feel Inoue could strengthen his international legacy by fighting in America against major names, where competing with top stars on boxing's biggest stage could expand his audience and showcase his greatness to even more fans.
You compare him to everybody in the fight game right now.
No, I think he's definitely up there pound for pound. I mean, he's super explosive. He's stopping everybody.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little bit less of a presence here in the United States, so it's like hard to really follow him and like become like a huge fan. But no, definitely rate him. He's a great fighter.
You feel like he has to come here to the States?
I mean, this is like, he's obviously doing a great job in Japan, right? He doesn't necessarily need to. He's making the money. He's gonna, you know, he's doing what he's got to do. Yeah. But like, there's a difference. I think there's something special about making it in the United States. Like, it's a little bit more difficult. It's a harder market. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. If you really made it, you've made it in the United States.
And you've had 2 fights in England?
I've had 2 years of fighting in England.
2 years of fighting.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
So, you done? You done?
Well, you know, unless I have to down the line, but for now, yeah, back in America.
How was that experience opposed to fighting here in the States, though?
You know, I really liked it. The UK audience really took well.
Paulie Malignaggi offers an in-depth explanation of what makes Naoya Inoue such an elite and entertaining fighter. He notes that even when Inoue faces adversity or gets knocked down, he does not retreat into a defensive mindset. Instead, he becomes more aggressive, moving forward behind a determined jab while trying to get closer to his opponent. Malignaggi points out that rather than avoiding exchanges during difficult moments like many fighters do, Inoue actively seeks greater engagement.
Defensively safer, make sure I win this fight, which of course, dude, somebody like me would try that, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you, yeah, it was tough, but, you know, I was looking for, you know, the less contact approach, right? Inoue looked for more contact after getting dropped, and this is what makes him fun. He gets up, he starts to establish that power jab first and foremost, but then he starts, you know, coming forward, starts walking Cardenas down, pushing him back on the jab. I thought the issue Cardenas had was he wasn't jabbing with Inoue. You don't want to hook with the hooker, even though Cardenas' hook is a very good left hook in and of itself. You don't want to hook with the hooker, but even though Cardenas was trying to hold tight and whip left hooks in there, but you got to at least jab with the jab, because once Inoue made that adjustment, started power jabbing, it was almost like it was an imbalance there. Now Inoue's jab was starting to work in overdrive, and nothing was coming back from the jab side, from the straight punches side from Cardenas, and those jabs were busting up Cardenas and moving him back, and it allowed Inoue to start walking him down. And what happens when you got him on the back foot? Now you can start putting some combinations behind the jab.
He uses his jab with authority to force opponents onto the back foot before adding combinations behind it. After taking command, he works the body to drain his opponent over time, creating openings for harder shots upstairs. These calculated changes, particularly controlling distance with the jab before targeting the body, disrupt his opponents and make it difficult for them to respond. That fearless attacking approach, paired with refined technique, has made Inoue one of boxing's most entertaining global stars.
Again, especially with the fact that Inoue is not as devastating to the head at these higher weight classes, you got to sort of soften up the opponent. Once he wasn't doing that early on. I think that's why Cardenas, who took a couple of shots and was like, all right, you know what, I can take this guy's shots. I'm going to trade with this guy, and he ended up doing well. But once Inoue was able to back up Cardenas, and he used that jab to back up. That was the first adjustment. Starting to use that pump power jab. Second adjustment is now once you're backing off, start throwing those combinations and using those combinations to get to the body. And then when he started going to the body, he started softening Cardenas up. And once Cardenas was softened up, then those headshots do start to take effect. They start to take more effect on you, because now you're getting hit and you're feeling everything a little bit more. You're slowing down. You're not able to resist as much as far as punch resistance, and you're also not able to throw back as much. Cardenas didn't have a high output. He was trying to sort of save his energy and put everything into one big shot a few times, and which also kills energy. So I'm assuming that that's probably why he didn't have a big output. He was probably.
Henry provides a close examination of the Naoya Inoue versus Luis Neri fight, describing the changes in momentum from one stage to another. He explains that Neri initially found openings with crisp counters and managed to drop Inoue with a quick, perfectly timed left hook that surprised him.
He was surprised by Cardenas' speed in the first place. The left hook from Cardenas in particular, he was firing out with rapid pace. And what we saw was, in this round, Inoue had him backed up, he threw his own shot, he left his hands low, and Cardenas dipped down. Inoue had his lead hand low, his right hand was low, and what he did was Cardenas, he kept his head low in the pocket, and he just dipped his left hand over the top and hit Inoue clean on the chin and knocked Inoue down. And it was a really, really good shot. Inoue took it clean on the chin, and Inoue's obviously got a good chin. Only the second time, I believe, in his career that he's actually been down Inoue. And he got up, and Cardenas tried to stick it on him, but Inoue survived the round, and we continued from there. And then again in round 3, I felt that Cardenas came out very, very strong, counter-punching really well. Inoue had the greater volume most of the rounds, but Cardenas landing the cleaner work in that round 3 in particular. Now, I'll pull up my scorecard so you can see how I had it at the time of the stoppage. So Inoue round 1, Cardenas had the knockdown in 2. Round 3 was Cardenas, then 4 Inoue. I had 5 Cardenas, 6 Inoue, and then 6 Inoue was really starting to hurt Cardenas, I felt. He was landing some good counter shots. The body work from Inoue throughout the fight was very...
Even after being hurt, Inoue showed tremendous resilience, rising from the canvas and making it through the round. Henry notes that although Neri kept finding success with clean counters, Inoue maintained a greater punch output and gradually adjusted his approach. He began landing accurate, damaging shots to the body, slowly draining Neri's effectiveness. Henry believes Inoue's ring intelligence and ability to adapt were the biggest factors. He changed his positioning, protected himself more effectively from the left hook, and managed the distance with greater control. As the fight progressed into the later rounds, Inoue continued reducing Neri's impact. Eventually, his precise combinations, body attacks, and adjustments at close range forced the stoppage, demonstrating his exceptional boxing intelligence and championship caliber composure.
Boxing, and you see a lot of guys who are tough who, they get outboxed, they get beaten up, but they're still in there. Inoue's got it, but he's also brilliant. There's nothing this guy doesn't have. He's got the chin, he's got the gas tank, he's got the boxing IQ, he's got the power. He puts himself in there in dangerous situations. He's entertaining. There's nothing not to love about this guy. He's absolutely exceptional. And I think in contrast to everything else we saw this weekend, it just felt like an incredible viewing experience watching him in there tonight. And before I move on, I have to say credit to Cardenas, because like I said before, the guy went in there, he gave it a proper go. He properly challenged himself, and he went out like a warrior, but that guy will get more fights because of that. And full props to him, because he helped to make the spectacle that it was, and I'm sure Inoue will be grateful for the fight Cardenas made it too. He pushed Inoue all the way, he gave himself a genuine chance of winning those belts, and you can give Cardenas nothing but praise. And at the end of the day, all it was that Inoue was just a bit better than him. There's nothing else to say about it really, and I think I'd happily see a rematch, not because I think Cardenas wins it, but because it was so damn entertaining. So when you do that, all I'm saying is when you're Cardenas, you set yourself up for future opportunities by going in there and putting on a good...
Ariel Helwani describes Naoya Inoue as a truly unmatched presence in modern boxing, pointing to his rare blend of technical ability, power, and consistency. In Helwani's view, Inoue sits above the rest as the sport's #1 pound-for-pound fighter. He says Inoue's case goes beyond simply collecting victories because of the precise and intelligent way he controls and overwhelms opponents. His performances repeatedly distinguish him from the competition, establishing him as an exceptional talent and earning Helwani's top ranking worldwide.
3, right? It's him, Usyk, Crawford. Everyone probably has Usyk #1 now. But it does seem like every time one of those guys fights, they kind of leapfrog the others just momentarily. While we're prisoners of the moment. I love watching him fight. I'm excited to watch him fight.
Yeah, but there'll be no jump for Inoue this time.
Well, yes.
Minus 5,000, even if he knocks the guy out in the first minute, the first round, there's no jump. What I do respect for Inoue is that at least he's still fighting. He's had a couple of cancellations against Sam Goodman, and he could easily say, I'm not fighting. Let's just move on and we'll fight someone big in America or in Saudi Arabia. Obviously heavily linked to be on a Riyadh season card, but he still wants to stay active. Thing now is though, we now want to see some super fights, because there are super fight opponents out there. Nakatani's one that everyone's been screaming about. Let that fight happen, right? Whether it be in Japan or again in Saudi Arabia.
Wade Plemons calls Naoya Inoue a true force in boxing, saying he continues to prove his superiority every time he competes. He recalls how skeptics questioned Inoue before matchups such as the Stephen Fulton fight, only for Inoue to dominate and secure a convincing stoppage. Plemons stresses that Inoue does more than simply win, as he defeats opponents decisively through exceptional power and technique. He also points to Inoue's success in several divisions, including becoming undisputed while maintaining his dominance. Although some fans want to see him face larger stars, Plemons feels going much higher in weight would be impractical because of Inoue's natural size, even with his remarkable abilities.
Massive deal. And yes, you could say that's at the end of Nonito's kind of run here, but I've talked to Nonito and I don't think he's anywhere near done. He's still a monster. He's still with the shits. And of course, he's a legend in the sport. But I heard the same things when Stephen Fulton came over, and people were talking about Stephen Fulton was going to take him down, and in a way, washed him in 8 rounds as well. He's not just winning fights, he's winning by stoppage. He's TKOing fools. He's knocking them dead. And this is just another example of that with Luis Nery. It's like you have a guy that's this dominant, again, across 3 weight classes now, and undisputed at 2 of those weight classes. It starts to become like, what else can he do? And people want him to move up, but let's be honest, he started his career at what, 108 pounds? He's now sitting at 122. He's 31 years old. If you talk about super fights that are out there, you think about everyone.
Sean Porter explains to Sean Zittel that Naoya Inoue was somewhat underestimated in a matchup where the opponent placed too much confidence in his ability to absorb punishment. Porter says Inoue entered the bout as a heavy favorite because the talent gap made the expected result clear. He considers Inoue one of boxing's most explosive fighters, comparing his impact to elite punchers such as David Benavidez. Porter believes one of Inoue's biggest challenges is finding opponents capable of creating genuinely competitive fights, since differences in ability and betting expectations often make the results easier to predict. He also points out that measuring dominance becomes difficult when a fighter does not regularly face elite-level competition. Looking forward, Porter discusses the possibility of Inoue competing in America, potentially at Madison Square Garden, where facing top US contenders could create a major boxing event and provide a larger global stage for evaluating his abilities.
Inoue, like Michaela said, is one of the most explosive fighters. I think Gervonta comes to mind too, but I think maybe the most explosive fighter in boxing. Do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely up there, yeah, for sure. I just want to see him against people that we know.
Yes. In the
you know, like we can really compare. I think that's a lot of like a problem right now with boxing is like you don't. I mean, you're getting it with the women, obviously, but not so much with the men when it comes to like what an equal level playing field for these fighters. Like, there's always one person that is way ahead when it comes to like the stats. You know, like who's gonna win the fight. Like everyone kind of knows who's gonna win the fight.
At the betting odds.
Yeah, the betting odds. That's what I meant.
Is there plans to bring him to America? Anybody?
Yeah, his next fight is in America.
His next fight?
Yeah, that's what Top
Thank God. All right.
Confirmed it. And you know, the Americans, Angelo Leo, Bruce Carrington, they have to elevate them.
Teddy Atlas acknowledges Terence Crawford's greatness, but believes Naoya Inoue is accomplishing something exceptional within the sport. Atlas notes that Inoue has successfully climbed through several weight divisions while remaining highly effective, demonstrating unusual technique, power, and adaptability along the way. At the same time, Atlas explains that every boxer eventually reaches a physical ceiling when moving higher in weight, and Inoue is now entering that conversation as he continues advancing through the divisions.
You're going to see really, if he could do the extraordinary and go up as far as Crawford wants to go up now with Canelo, so that would give us a little light into the question you're asking, how Crawford does. If he does good, then you can start to say, all right, then maybe Inoue can go up a couple more. He's already gone up in an extraordinary way, the classes that he's gone up and been so effective.
Atlas believes Crawford's results in the heavier divisions could help reveal just how far Inoue might realistically advance. He also points to intriguing possibilities, including a matchup with pressure fighter Nick Ball, whose constant aggression could challenge Inoue's technical accuracy. For Atlas, Inoue's uniqueness comes from his capacity to adjust against different styles, while continuing to perform with precision and control. He also mentions Manny Pacquiao as another rare example of a fighter who managed to succeed while moving through numerous weight classes.
Does come a limit, but again, I see no problem going up another one here. It would be a great fight with Ball, because Ball is, you know, excuse the pun, but it fits. He's a ball of fire. You know, for while it lasts, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. You know, he comes at you. He's fiery. He goes to the body. He throws punches and bunches. He's very aggressive. Look, that might not bode well, that style that temperament might not bode well against a guy like Inoue.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for what's coming next.